Alright, there. Hi! Hi, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Wach Sports, episode 2 tayo. And today we'll be talking about the NBA Western Conference team previews. Okay, so NBA is around the corner. Malapit na siya, I think. The first game would be on Wednesday. And let me double check what's our first game. Let's check the schedule. Yeah, so our first game on Wednesday would be the Bucks and the Nets at 7:30 and then the Lakers at 10 a.m. So yun ang first two games to start our season. And yeah, we're doing this team preview. We did the first team preview for the Eastern Conference last Friday. And ito, medyo hinabol ko na lang itong Western Conference kasi medyo madami na ginawa nung weekend. Hindi ko siya dapat supposedly one episode lang to pero I had to split it kasi hindi ko natapos yung Western Conference. So for today, we'll be talking about the Western Conference and we'll check out the teams kung ano yung mga bago sa kanila, latest transactions for them, latest updates. What else? Personnels and yeah, injury report. We'll also check that out. So guys, but before that pala, thank you so much for joining me. And also, kamusta yung mga fantasy teams nyo? I think almost everyone nagpa-fantasy nakapag-draft na. I had my last draft yesterday. I think it did well, hopefully. And feeling ko yung mga tao kasama dun sa draft nanonood din dito. So guys, good luck sa inyo. Confident ako sa team ko. So if you guys still have draft or fantasy leagues na magda-draft pa lang kayo, well, hopefully this episode could help you with your draft picks. Also, you can check out our Eastern Conference team previews para at least may idea din kayo kung sino yung mga tingin ko good picks for this year's fantasy. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm more of a fan doing this as a fan for the fans anyway. So, but before we go to our NBA team previews, let's talk about first what happened to the NFL this Sunday, basically Sunday sa US. So, kanina we had games for the NFL. Like, sobrang bad trip ako kasi lahat ng fantasy players ko for the NFL, they did fucking bad today, you know. Justin Herbert got his ass kicked. Sam Darnold and the Panthers also got lost. Sila yung dalawang hard hitter ko for one of my super flex leagues. So, medyo bad trip. Daanan lang natin yung scores. Di ako nakagawa ng visuals today. Medyo may busy ako. So, daanan lang natin yung scores. Now, Eagles and Buccaneers, yan yung game last Friday which na-featured natin. They had the score of 22-28 in favor of Buccaneers. And then also the Jaguars, Dolphins. Dude, eto napanood ko to. Ang ganda nitong game na to, by the way. Sobrang excited to. Jaguars won 23 over the Dolphins 20. Coming into this game, the Jaguars were actually on a 20-game losing streak. So last whole season, they went 0-16 last season. And then 4 games they lost season prior. So going into this league, 0-20 sila. Okay? And then, they won because of a field goal. Okay? So, here's the funny thing. Yung kicker nila, Matthew Wright, was basically upgraded from the practice squad a day before. So, technically, hindi siya signed player. Sinign lang siya for that day because they played this game in London. So, ang funny kasi, they were down 20 by 17-20. This was, they still have, I think, 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Dude, the kicker had a 54-yard field goal. Man, nung pinapanood ko siya, kwento ko lang saglit, akala ko out na. And then nag-dip siya last second to basically get in the goal. So they scored the goal. And then he was actually the one who's I think they had a 1 second left on the clock when he scored a 52-yard field goal. So basically, this guy hasn't kicked this year in the NFL. This guy hasn't kicked yet in the NFL this season. Yet he gave the Jaguars a win from a 250-yard field goal. So, ang ganda. That was a great game. Anyway, let's go to the Panthers. Panthers lost 28. Vikings won this game 34. And then the Ravens against Chargers. Dude, the Baltimore had a really good game. Offense, pinanood ko rin to eh. Offense, defense, special teams. They basically kick Chargers' ass. It was 34-6 in favor of the Ravens. Ang ganda. Sobrang yung mainit na start ni Justin Herbert. Wala. Kinain siya for this game. And then the Giants against Rams. Rams won this 38-11. Oh, wala. It was a field day for Matthew Stafford. I think Cooper Kupp got two touchdowns for this game. Next is the Colts and the Texans. Again, nupakan. I think this week, puro lopsided yung mga games. Colts won 31-3. And then the Washington against the Chiefs. By the way, Patrick Mahomes got his 15th interception in 15 games. So medyo Patrick Mahomes is not having a great year. A great start to the year. 31-13 in favor of the Chiefs. For the Bears-Packers, 24-14 in favor of the Packers. And then for the Lions-Bengals, 34-11 in favor of the Bengals. Browns-Cardinals, dude, Kyler Murray, 6-0 sila. They're still undefeated right now. They're super exciting to watch. Big fan of Kyler Murray. Basically, he's Baby Yoda. So, kung fan kayo ng NFL, makikita yung sinasabi ko. Although, kung hindi kayo fan, might as well check it out. Arizona Cardinals, and check out their quarterback, Kyler Murray. Sarap niya panoorin, man. Sobrang galing niya for a small guy. He's good. 37-14, they beat the Browns. And then Patriots against Cowboys. Cowboys won 35-29. Raiders won 34-24. And then the Seahawks, kaninang umaga, Steelers won 23-20. Russell Wilson's not playing today. He's injured. So Geno Smith is the one playing as their quarterback. And ang sama kasi Tyler Lockett, I think, only caught two touches today. So sama. Sama ng fantasy week ko for football. So hopefully maging okay yung fantasy week ko sa basketball. Mabawi ako. By the way guys, I'd like to know ilang leagues ang meron kayo this year. I have 3 leagues sa basketball. So hopefully maging okay yung mga leagues ko. And yeah, who's your first and second draft pick? So mga tao na pag-draft na, I'd like to know. So comment it below. Game tomorrow in the NFL, Titans against Bills. So it's basically Ryan Tannehill against who's this again? Josh Allen, yeah. I think Josh Allen's gonna win this one. Easy. Anyway, let's move on to our topic for today. So that's just a bit of NFL news since it's Monday. Daming NFL news. And guys, I highly encourage you guys watch it. And sa mga friends ko na nanonood, guys, mag-usap tayo. Wala akong makausap sa NFL dito, men. Ang dami mong gusto sabihin, pero wala akong makausap sa NFL. Well, anyway, let's move to our topic for today, which is basically this one. An NBA Western Conference team preview. Now, as we know, for the past few years, basically, the Western Conference has been the most, well, I'd say talented or better conference compared to the Eastern Conference, which has been known as the Eastern Conference for quite some time now. But yeah, as we checked out in our preview last time, medyo nag-improve na actually yung Eastern Conference. So hopefully makuha nila yung talent with the Western Conference. But anyway, it's still a good conference. So today we'll just talk about the Western Conference now. Sa mga viewers natin, what's your favorite Western Conference team? Ano yun? I'm a big Lakers fan, so I'm rooting for them this year. Although medyo may mga questions regarding this series for them, we'll tackle that later. Pero I'm still rooting for them. So yeah, let's move on to our first team, which is the Dallas Mavericks. Now the Dallas Mavericks finished 5th place last year with a record of 40-32. They eventually lost to the Clippers in the first round of the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, yeah, first round. Their projected starting lineup this year is Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis, and then Maxi Kleber. Now, normally, itong front court nila, either si Kristaps naglalaro ng center or si Maxi Kleber. It depends. I think Dwight Powell is still out as of the moment, but he's going to be a good reserve. I bet that Maxi Kleber will actually start for this team. Notable additions is basically their coach, Jason Kidd, Reggie Bullock, which would add shooting, Sterling Brown, defense, and a bit of shooting, and then Frank Ntilikina. Well, this guy has been a project supposedly for the New York, pero hindi pa siya nagpa-pan out, but he's more of on the defensive side. Reserve players to watch: Jalen Bronson, Dwight Powell, Reggie Bullock, Trey Burke, and this guy, Moses Brown. Dude, this guy, when he plays, he gets double-double. I think his last preseason, 12, he had a 10-11 double-double. He had a 10-11 double-double on freaking 12 minutes. He's actually good. Hindi ko nga magets ba, again, stacked kasi ang OKC in terms of young players. So I guess one of the reasons they had to let Moses go. And then also when he got to Boston, they had to release him because basically ang dami ring players dun eh. Diba? So I guess that's one of the reasons kung bakit they had to let Moses Brown go. But I'm really high on this guy. I'm not sure if he's gonna have a lot of playing time though. Since Boban is also there. So we'll see. But definitely I'm pretty sure they'll try to develop Moses Brown for the Dallas Mavericks. I think he's gonna go well with Kristaps Porzingis playing alongside him. Again, I think si Kristaps more of a power forward because he's very fragile. Hindi siya ma-injured. So I guess hindi siya ilalagay ng Dallas majority of the time in the center position. The way na sa Lakers, ayaw nila masyado ilagay si Anthony Davis sa center position even if dun siya mas effective. So, we'll see. Ibabalance out nila yan kung paano mangyayari. Alright? And then, fantasy players to watch, definitely Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, and Tim Hardaway Jr. Also, by the way, reserve players, Jalen Bronson. This guy's been good when he's playing. I think he's a bit underrated, in my opinion. Oh, wala na naman. Oh, there, my bad. Okay, I think he's a bit underrated, in my opinion. But he does his work he does his work really well. So as your playmaker in the second unit, he does well. So I think he's going to be the sixth man here. Reggie Bullock too also adds shooting. Now I think basically kino-cover na si Luka Doncic with a lot of shooting. So that's a good addition in this team. Now the biggest question here is Jason Kidd. As we all know, hindi naging maganda yung mga coaching stints niya with the Brooklyn and Milwaukee. So, it's quite interesting to know kung paano niya i-coach itong Dallas Mavericks, especially with a young star, an MVP caliber star in Luka Doncic. Pero, yeah, yun. I think they had 13 years, if I'm not mistaken, na head coach si Rick Carlisle. So, this would be a new addition to the team. Magiging bago itsura nila, and I'm interested to know kung ano yung magiging lineup sila. Speaking of Jalen Brunson, he averaged 12.6 points, 3.5 assists on 40% shooting last season. Also, they have Trey Burke, a good spark in this team. And then Reggie Bullock averaged 2.5 3 points made last season on 41% 3-point percentage. So, taas ng percentage ni Reggie Bullock, which I think is a really good addition to this team. Okay, now let's move to our fantasy players to watch. Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Kristaps Porzingis. Now, Kristaps Porzingis is a high-risk, high-reward draft pick in my opinion. If he's healthy, he's gonna dominate. But then again, if you draft him, tas na-injured siya, well, sayang yung most likely second draft pick mo. Luka Doncic he's gonna eat this year, you know? I think he's gonna have an MVP caliber year, which sobrang alam naman natin na ang laki ng improvement niya. So, that's a fantasy player to watch. And also, Tim Hardaway Jr. I have a feeling that this guy would have a great season this year. He averaged 16.6 points last year, 3 rebounds, and 39% on 3-point shooting with a 2.9 3 points made per game. So, taas ng 3 points ito. And he's been shooting lights out in the 3 points. As you can see, 39%. Not great, but still a good percentage for the league. Okay, now key questions going into the season. Porzingis' health. Again, he only played 57 games back in the 2019-2020, then 43 games last season out of 72. So he's practically missing about 30 games per season, diba? And then in the bubble, he actually had a good season when he went back to the bubble. Yung sa Orlando bubble. He averaged during the regular season in the playoffs 28.2 points, 9.2 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 1.3 blocks on 48% field goal, 42% 3-point shooting. That's a bit high. That's quite high. And then 85% free throw. So yan yung kanyang stats in the Orlando bubble for the regular season plays. Now, if he gets to this level of play and then he gets healthy, he's going to be really, really dangerous. And we can count out the Dallas Mavericks doing good from their previous record of 5th in the Western Conference. If Porzingis is going to eat, I mean, basically, it's going to be a monster this season. Next is the Nets' new head coach, Jason Kidd. Now, like I said, 13 years, Rick Carlisle, diba? So, he's been part of the top 3 longest tenured coach last season, just behind Pop and Eric Spoelstra. So, this is basically a new system, a new offense, a new defense. So, it's interesting to see kung ano gagawin ni Jason Kidd. And also, Jason Kidd has a tendency to have a bad relationship with his players. So, hindi ganun sobrang ganda. Although Giannis likes him. But other players are not really fond of Jason Kidd. So, we'll have to see kung magiging okay sila ni KP and also Luka Doncic. Yeah, Migo, your comment is that success this year relies solely on KP's health. Actually, yeah, it's true. Last year, nagbuhat si Luka Doncic. And yeah, well, he's still young. I bet na he's gonna improve more. But still, the combination of KP and Luka Doncic, when they're together, they're actually a good fit. So, that's what we have to see. And then, Luka Doncic. Is this the year where Luka is going to be the MVP? Now, he was fourth in 1920 season and then sixth in last year's MVP MB bubul na ako. MVP voting. Last season stats was 27 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists on 48, 35, 73 shooting. Now, you can see, alam naman natin lahat, ang free throws na medyo alanganin. But then again, I think he compensates on that. But he has to improve more on that. And I think this year, he's gonna improve pa. Like, every year he's been improving. Is this his MVP year? That's the question, actually. That's one of the storylines that we have to see. I think he's gonna do more. He might average double-double this season, even triple-double. I think he has a chance. He's borderline basically triple-double averages last season. So, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm really high for Luka Doncic. I'm a fan, actually. Hopefully, maging okay yung season na. And, predictions ba? Regarding their standing, I think they're gonna go the same. Fifth. I don't think they're gonna go lower, especially with Kristaps healthy. By the way, this is the only off-season na walang injury si Kristaps Porzingis. So, this is quite a good off-season for Kristaps. So, if he's not injured, I could say they could go until top 4. Top 4 to top 3. I think they might go 3rd or 4th if Kristaps is not injured. But if he's gonna be injured, nakita naman natin kaya buhatin ni Luka to the 5th place ang Mavericks. So, I guess 5th would be their worst season end. Season place, the end. Okay, next, let's go with our Denver Nuggets. Okay, just making sure na okay yung slides. Okay, now Denver Nuggets here. Oops. Sorry, nakawala. Okay, there. Nice lang. Okay, so Denver Nuggets. Projected starting lineup: Monte Morris, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. Yeah, this lineup is actually good. That's even without Jamal Murray. So if you look at this lineup, okay din siya. It's a good team. Last season, they finished 3rd with a record of 47-25, and then they lost the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference semifinals. Well, they got swept because Jamal Murray wasn't there. But still, this team is competitive. Now, notable addition is Nashon, Bones Highland, and Jeff Green. Now, with key departures, JaVale McGee and Paul Millsap, I think Jeff Green is gonna slide in a very good in the role that Paul Millsap actually left. So, reserve players to watch: Jeff Green, Facundo Campazzo. I think he's going to be their 6th man here, and Jeff Green is going to be their energy guy, the way Paul Millsap played last season. Also, I think he could actually start also in the power forward position and then basically put Aaron Gordon in the second unit. So, madami silang possibilities with this team. Let me double check again. I know this team is a bit deep. Kung di nagkakamali. Yan. So, anyway. And yeah, we have to also talk about Bones Highland. And also Bol. I'm putting him here because it's quite interesting. They've been using him as more of a shooting forward last season. So, he was actually quite interesting in the preseason. Medyo madami siyang magagandang ginawa rin doon, which is quite fun to watch. Alright, let me just... Here we go. Lagi nawawala. Sorry about that. Okay, now let's talk about Nashon Bones Highland. Basically, he's the rookie. Hindi ko pa nalagay ko ng picture. He was drafted this year, and in the preseason, ba't nawawala yun? On the preseason, on Summer League, he had 19 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds on 46, 40, 76 shooting. And then, on the preseason, he had actually a good preseason. 15, 4, 4, 56% field goal. That's actually quite high for a guard. 34% shooting and 34% 3-point shooting, and then 77% free throw on 27 minutes. So, basically, they gave him time to play in the preseason, and I think he's gonna do well this season. He might have a shot at playing great minutes this one. Ba't nawawala lagi? What's wrong? Oops. Sorry. Okay, anyway. Okay. There. So I think he's gonna have uh, a great year here as a rookie. Not rookie of the year type of thing, but he's gonna be useful since madaming minutes na naiwan si Jamal Murray. So we have to also see kung sino yung mag-fill up ng points and production ni Jamal Murray while he's actually out. Also in the team is Jamichael Green. Also PJ Dozier, who had good moments last season. Next is fantasy players to watch. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. I think Aaron Gordon is going to be very good this season. I think he's going to have more touches. He's going to be integrated all in the offense. In terms of defense, din siya kailangan mag-improve in my opinion. Monty Morris too, since siya ang magiging starting. He's actually reliable. You know, he's a starter, not a great starter, but you know, he's a starting point guard. I think he could handle himself. He's not Jamal Murray, but still, I think he's gonna do well. So for fantasy people out there, might as well check him for late picks. Michael Porter Jr., he's unvaccinated. Anti-vax tong guy na to. So it's a bit risky to get this guy. But he's gonna have a great year. Let me see the stats. Nawawala talaga. Ba't nawawala ka? Let me just see that. Oops. Anyway. Okay, so let's talk about Michael Porter Jr. because that's going to be one of the questions going into the season. Is this going to be another year for Jokic? I think so. Another MVP year is going to be a repeat. With Jamal Murray out, he's definitely going to have a lot of offensive loads going to be on him. He has to really do a lot of things this year, especially without Jamal Murray. So last season, he played all 72 games. He had 26 points, 10.8 rebounds and 8 assists, which is quite good. I think also there's also a chance that he might do a triple-double season here, you know. And it's another question is how will he play without Jamal Murray? Next is MPJ leap to stardom or to basically all-star. Last season he had 19 points, 7.3 rebounds on 54% and 54% field goal, 44% 3-point percentage, and then 79% free throw in 61 games. So, yeah, I honestly think MPJ is gonna have a big year. Siguro magiging tanong lang is he gonna be healthy? Like you said, Migo, if he doesn't get hurt, I think he's gonna be in the MIP talks. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that MPJ is going to be the most improved player. There is a big chance, you know, especially now I think he's going to be the second option of the Denver Nuggets this season. Now, how deep will they go in the playoffs? That's one of the questions. Last season, they got eliminated in the semis. Without Murray, we'll not know how deep they will go. So that's one of the questions here. Also, what would be... They're saying that there's a chance Jamal Murray might come back this season, but I doubt it. But when he comes back, what would be his production? And also, like I said kanina, will MPJ take over whatever the productions na may iwan ni Jamal Murray? And if he does, who else is gonna step up? I bet this would be Aaron Gordon. I honestly do bet it's gonna be Aaron Gordon. With a little bit production from their bench players. This team is still deep. I think they're still fighting for a top 4 finish here in the Western Conference. Aside from sino ba mga top tiers dito? I would say Lakers is in the top tier. I think Denver and the Lakers are still basically in the same level. Next level would be the Clippers without Kawhi. They're a step down. What else? Where are the teams here? Utah Jazz, yeah. Utah Jazz. Yan yung mga top tier na ano. So I guess, in my opinion, they're still gonna be in that same category. Now, Golden State Warriors. Projected starting lineup, Stephen Curry, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney. Now, since Wiseman is injured, I'll put Kevon Looney here as their starting center. Now, notable additions, they added a lot. Otto Porter, Andre Iguodala, Nemanja Bjelica, if I'm not mistaken, kung tama yun. Anyway, Chris Chioza, and then there are 2 good draft picks, which is Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. Yan yung mga kailangan. Reserve players to watch, definitely, if Jordan Poole's not gonna start, reserve player to watch, definitely Jordan Poole. I think there's also a chance that Otto Porter might start and then Andrew Wiggins sliding in the shooting guard position. So we'll have to put it there. I'm just gonna put it there. Klay Thompson also, and then Jonathan Kuminga. I think Jonathan Kuminga has more upsides compared to Moses Moody. I think also Jonathan Kuminga is gonna have more playing time than Moses Moody. And then also James Wiseman when he comes back, what would be his role? Key departures for this team is Kelly Oubre, Eric Pascal, and Kent Bazemore. Now let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga first and the rookies that they have. On the Summer League, he actually impressed. Both of these guys impressed. Summer League stats for Kuminga was 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.5 steals on 37, 27, 64 shooting percentage. He didn't have a good 3-point shooting percentage, but still, he put up 17 points. On the G League last season, he actually had 15.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal on 38, 24, 62 shooting percentage. So I guess his 3-point shooting has to improve more, and this guy is a volume scorer. So he need lots of shots to get his points. Now Moses Moody on the Summer League had 16 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 44%, 37, 77 shooting percentage, which is not bad. Now, I think the only reason kung bakit feeling ko mas madaming playing time si Jonathan Kuminga is because he played in the G League. The same way that he was basically teammates with Jalen Green. So, these guys are NBA ready. Now, Moses Moody will have to be integrated with the pace in the game of the NBA since he came from college. But honestly, I think he's still gonna have a chance to prove himself. Alright, now let's go to the fantasy players to watch. Definitely Stephen Curry, Draymond Green. I think this is going to be another basically multi-assists, multi-rebounds, a complete stat line year for Draymond Green. I think mas better yung teammates this season. Also with the addition of the other help, so I think he's gonna have a great year. Jordan Poole too. This guy is scoring in 3 points if you need it in fantasy. This guy could give you another. That makes sabi he's gonna be another splash bro. Nadagdagan daw sila. There's also a big chance that he could be a most improved player. So there are a lot of buzz going on regarding Jordan Poole in the Golden State camp. Oy, sorry, Denver Nuggets pala yung logo, hindi ko pa napalitan. My bad. So yeah, a fantasy player to watch. So, a lot of players napansin ko sa draft, nire-reach siya. I'm not a fan of reaching this guy too much, but if you have a shot to get him at the right spot, go ahead. And also Klay Thompson, when he comes back, I'm interested. He's going to come back around sabi niya projected as January, but there's a big chance he might play around December, I think. So that's the key things to check. He had two major injuries. He's been out for the past 2 seasons, so that's one of the key questions going into the season. How will he play? You know, he tore his ACL in the left knee and then tore his right Achilles. So we'll have to see kung shake off ba yung Ross. Will he have his old form prior to getting injured? His old form back in 2018-2019 season was 21 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal on 46, 40, 81% shooting percentage, and also 3 points made. So will he get back to that level? Diba? And I think he has to be at least 70 to 80% that level for the Golden State to compete in this stacked Western Conference. To be stacked in this Western Conference. Now, next question is, will we see an MVP Curry? Last season, he was third in voting and also the scoring leader. He had 32 points, 5.8 assists, 5.5 rebounds on 48, 41, 91% shooting. Wow, that's a good stat. So, will we see an MVP Curry, which basically dominates this league, not just in scoring but in overall aspects of the game. So that's one of the questions. I think he would early on. I think mas revamp siya, and if he's healthy, he's gonna have another great year, you know. Yesterday draft namin, siya ang first pick namin. Well, in my opinion, it's quite questionable, pero I don't know, he might be a big year. And the next is, which young guy will step up? Which young guys will step up? Sorry. Maganda yung balance nila this year. They have veterans and also young guys. So, as you can see, with the core of with the young core of Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole, James Wiseman, medyo okay yung ano nila, most smoothie. Medyo okay ang future nila. So, basically they're in between, what do you call this? They're in between having these veterans which are really good and also having a future for their team. So, the question is, who will step up? Will James Wiseman actually get the starting center role na? As in like, kukunin niya sa kanya yan? Jordan Poole looks like to step up this season. So, my team. Also, Kuminga and Moody, their progress. So, those are the questions that I think are going to be asked from the Golden State this season. Next is the Houston Rock. Oh, by the way, they finished last year in the play-in, 9th in the Western Conference. I think they're much more improved now. So they could get to the top 6, you know. There's a big chance that Portland might actually go in the play-in. So Portland was 6th place last season. There's a big chance that they might actually go in the play-in. Also later, I'm gonna say my take here. If the Lakers gets injured, they're gonna definitely play in the play-in. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Golden State, I think they're gonna be in the playoffs this season, top 6. With the revamp, Otto Porter coming in for defense. Andre Iguodala going for another basically leadership here, and then just in case of fire stuff or break the glass defensive guy, he's gonna be that guy. So yeah. Next is the Houston Rockets. Basically the worst team in the West last season. They got the second pick. Projected starting lineup: Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Jason Tate, Daniel Tice, and Christian Wood. Now there's a... Oh, we have comments pala, sorry. NBA to, diba? Ba't naging Batman? Sorry, nagloloko. Hindi ko alam eh. Ba't nagloloko eh? Wait lang. Try ko nga i-maximize to. Ayan, no? Nagiging Batman na naman eh. Sorry na ha. Sorry na. Bobos. Anyway, joke lang. Okay, so... Oh, ayan. Golden State Nuggets pala to. Yep, Golden State Nuggets. Buti napansin mo, mali yung ano eh. Kakalaw doon sa logo. They should still this year to make sure he's 100%. Amigo, I think they're not gonna sit him. They're not gonna sit him. They want him back in the playoffs. And yeah, I don't think they should sit him this year. Because if they sit him this year, I think he's just gonna be rusty. So might as well play him. So yeah, in my opinion, he has to play this season, even just in the playoffs or in the play-in. What else? Utah versus Denver in the playoffs. Who will win? I'll pick Denver. They're much more. Mas malalim ang Denver. I think they're a deep team. It's just my take. And also, paano ba to? They're much more defensively synced. They're much more disciplined in that area. Plus, the only reason kung ba't naupakan ng Utah sa playoffs is because pag nagpe-play small, wala sila nagagawa talaga kay Gobert. They had to take out Gobert. But with Jokic, their best man, being there, I think Jokic and Gobert is still going to be on the court. So, I don't know. That's just me. I think limited minutes can work, but it is a comeback season. I agree with you. That needs to still be rested still. I think Derek, yeah. Well, like I said, he has to play this season. He has to play this season if Golden State wants to really contend with the top tier teams. So, yeah. Okay, again, let's go back to our Houston Rockets. Notable addition, Daniel Tice, Jalen Green. They added basically four rookies here. Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Usman Garubo, and Josh Christopher. Now, the two draft picks that we have to look at is Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun. Later, we'll check out their stats. Reserve players to watch is definitely Alperen Sengun, Eric Gordon, Daniel House, and Kevin Martin Jr. Kevin Martin Jr. is basically para siyang energy guy. So if you get rebounds, yung mga plays na hustle plays, I think Kevin Martin is the guy. Eric Gordon, if he's gonna play this season, if he's not gonna sit out, it's not gonna get buyout, I think he's going to be the sixth man. Unless he basically gets Jason Tate out on the starting lineup, and then he's going to be the reserve guy. But I think Jason Tate's going to start this season, coming from a promising first year last year. And also, in terms of power forward center, I think Christian Wood will also play the power forward spot. Feeling ko there's a chance that we're going to see Alperen Sengun and Christian Wood together on the floor. So, I think gusto nilang gawin na power forward si Christian Wood with his frame and with his body, basically. Okay, now, fantasy players to watch. Kevin Porter Jr., he's basically the star here. He's going to dominate the ball here. And then, Jalen Green, fantasy player to watch. This guy could score. He's a bucket, sabi nga nila. A future scoring leader, yes, pero I think he's in this season he might be inefficient. So if you just need scoring, Jalen Green's the guy. And then Christian Wood. He's basically dominant when he's playing on the court. So fantasy wise, when he's healthy, he's good. Key departures from this team is Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and Sterling Brown. So it's all veterans. Reserve players to watch: Alperen Sengun. In the summer league, he had 14.5 points, 11 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and 3 blocks. Okay, 3 blocks. And then 43, 37, 60% shooting percentage. And then the preseason in 80 minutes that he played, he had 9.7 points, 7.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.5 blocks per game on a 46% field goal percentage. That's actually promising. So if this season he's gonna play that minutes and he's gonna contribute this same numbers in the team, well, that's a good thing for the Rockets and also for your fantasy team. Okay, now key questions going to the season: will Jalen Green win the ROI? Like I said yesterday, Jalen Suggs and Cade Cunningham are my top 2 picks, but Jalen Green is not away from those picks. So yes, there's also a big chance kasi it's basically him, Kevin Porter, and Christian Wood who's gonna handle the offensive workload in this team. So yeah, there's a big chance that he's gonna play. Last season in the G League, he had 17.9 points, 4.1 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 1.5 steals on 46, 36, 82% shooting percentage. And then on Summer League, he had a 20.3 points per game and 4.3 rebounds, 2 assists per game on 51, 52, 92% shooting. The reason feeling ko ba't sobrang efficient na was because he was basically playing with college guys. You know, he played with the NBA players already, semi-NBA players, borderline NBA players. So Summer League for him was basically easy, and I think pinakita niya yan during the Summer League. And then the preseason, he had 13 points, 3.7 rebounds, 2.2 assists per game, and then a 34, 23 and 83% shooting percentage. So as we can see, he had more. I think he had more 3-point attempts here. That's why the efficiency went down. So I guess in terms of shooting percentage, yan ang i-expect natin kung ano yung nakita sa kanya during the preseason. Now, the next question is, will Kpj be a star this season? This guy is playing on a bad team. So he's basically playing good on a bad team. He's a good player on a bad team. So yeah, I think he's gonna hoard a lot of stats this season. Will he be an all-star? It depends. He had his last season stat was 16.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 6.3 assists on 42, 31, 73 shooting percentage. I think he would surpass this, you know, with basically all. I think he's going to be the first option here. So he's definitely going to pass this. He's going to be the facilitator. So he's going to hold the ball a lot of. He's going to basically have the ball. So I think he's going to pass this stats. He's going to be improved more. But the real question is he the future of the Rockets? You know, is he the guy that they're going to call the franchise player? Diba? So that's, I think, one of the questions going forward here. And then third is John Wall's future. John Wall's not gonna play. Ito may comment tayo. Buy out John Wall. Which team do you think would benefit acquiring John Wall? And next is, sabi ni Raul, parang di kaya mag-coexist ni J. Wall at Jalen Green. Yes, di talaga kaya. Parehong bakaw yan and pareho silang bakaw. That's true. Also, John Wall is not gonna play for the Houston Rockets this season. They already had a mutual agreement that he's not gonna play. They're gonna look for trades for him. So, we'll have to see maybe later towards the trade deadline and also the buyout season kung ano mangyari sa kanya. Kasi John Wall has a 44.3 million salary this season and also 47.4 player option salary for next season. And if you're John Wall, you basically have $80 million guaranteed. Actually, $90 million guaranteed for the next 2 years. So the question is, how much are you willing to give away to go to how much are you willing to sacrifice to go to another team? Now 90 million, guys, kung kayo nasa situation, I'm gonna ask you, you have 90 million basically guaranteed contract sa'yo. What would you do? Would you sit out 2 seasons just to get it? Or would you sacrifice money to go to another team? Diba? So yeah, basically that's it. There are no other teams right now who's willing to to basically eat up the salary of John Wall. Kasi if they trade for John Wall this season, definitely John Wall will pick up his player option next season. Kasi there's no way in hell he's gonna get more than his player option or even close to his player option salary next season. No one's gonna pay him 20 million, I doubt. You know? So, he's literally gonna cash in on his player option next season. So, that is one of the questions. Teams, na bagay siya. If he's going to the Philadelphia, I think he's gonna do well there as a facilitator. But then again, no one's gonna... Walang salaryng magmamatcha kanya. And I don't think Philly, with Daryl Morey, by the way, former GM of Houston Rockets, I don't think they're gonna get him there. So, it's a very tricky situation for John Wall. But if you're John Wall right now, you're basically just enjoying your money, man. They're still paying you. It's a mutual agreement. So, even if you don't show up in camp, even if you don't show up in games, hindi nila kakaltasan yung pera mo. Diba? You're guaranteed 90 million, man. Come on. You're guaranteed 90 million for next season. For 2 years, diba? It's a money na parang, it's generational money. So, I don't think John Wall would sacrifice so much to go to another team. Ako kay John Wall, even if I sit this 2 season out, just be in my form, just basically just be in shape, and then sign a minimum contract after my 2 years and chase a ring, I could still do it. Diba? So, sabi ni Raul, feel ko experiment sila kay Jalen Green, invest some piece na magka-complement sa kanya, basically build around him. Yes, most likely yes. I think this would be his kumbaga audition if he's going to be the franchise cornerstone of Houston Rockets this season. Kasi right now, it's looking like lahat na kay Kevin Porter. But then again, the question is Kevin Porter really the future of the Rockets? So they're going to see this year if if the KPJ Jalen Green tandem is gonna do well. So yeah, those are the questions going into the season for the Houston Rockets. Next is the Los Angeles Clippers. Oh shit, I hate Oh, anyway, this Houston Rockets team, they would still be a bottom feeder in this Western Conference team. This conference is stacked. You know, this is a talented conference, so I guess they'll play around 15-14 in this conference. Next is the Los Angeles Clippers. They lost to the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals 4-2. They actually almost won this until shit happened. So yeah, they were fourth in the Western Conference last season. Now their projected starting lineup is Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, Paul George, Marcus Morris Sr., and Ivica Zubac. Okay. Yes, Clippers supot yan. Yes, supot siya. But daanan na rin natin. I'm for sure, may mga tayong mga tao dito yung kahit pa paano, Paul George fan. If not Paul George fan, talagang maybe diehard Clippers fan. But if you think about it, sino ba ang diehard Clippers fan, di ba? I mean, like, I think Lob City was the only time na nagkaroon sila ng fans. Aside from that, they were like, the shitty Clippers, di ba? Anyway. Okay, now let's go to notable additions. Moses Wright, Eric Bledsoe, Justin Winslow, George King, and then their draft picks, Keon Johnson, Jason Preston, Brandon Boston Jr. I don't think any of the draft picks would move the Clippers into contention. I think they're gonna play most of the 14th, 15th man minutes, or even in the G League. So, okay, let's check our notes here. Okay, reserve players to watch is Serge Ibaka, although he's injured right now, Terrence Mann, Nicholas Batum, Justin Winslow, and Luke Kennard. Justin Winslow was good when he was back in Miami. If he gets back to that form, I think he's a great addition in this team. Finally, Justin Winslow. He's a semi-triple-double. Kaya niya mag-triple-double. He gives you a lot. He fills the stat sheet pala. He fills the stat sheet, especially when he was healthy in Miami. So, I'm looking forward na sana makuha niya yung form na dito. Now, I think the guy who's coming out, who's going to have basically a breakout season is Terrence Mann. Especially without Kawhi Leonard. In the reserve role, I think he's gonna flourish there. So, he's going to be the energy and the sixth man for this team. Also, Nicholas Batum, last year, he did a great job as basically a backup power forward. So, he's gonna continue that. Also, Serge Ibaka, I think that when they go small, him or either Marcus Morris is gonna play center. So, he's also a key reserve player to watch. In terms of fantasy-wise, medyo I don't see Ibaka and Batum doing much in fantasy this season. Okay, so sayang Winslow binato lang sa kangkungan. Oh, 'di ba? I mean, 'di ba okay si Winslow nung nasa Heat siya? Ako lang fan pero fan ako eh. He showed a bit of flashes nung nasa when he was in Memphis until again he got injured. Uh well yeah, if you look at the Los Angeles Clippers starters, medyo pangit sila. Medyo baho talaga tingnan. Again, a prediction ko they're gonna play they're gonna be there at the top tier, but they might play it around, I would say, 5th to 7th, Alam mo, yung borderline. Feeling ko mahuhulog na sila. That's why feeling ko Golden State yung angat eh. There's a big chance Clippers is going either in the play-in or that. But, yun ang question later. Anyway, fantasy players to watch, definitely Paul George. Paul George is a regular season player. When he's healthy, he's really putting in good good stats. Then Reggie Jackson actually had a great season, a great playoffs. Kaya siya niresign ng Clippers. If he could actually maintain that, this is going to be big for the Los Angeles Clippers. Terrence Mann, like I said, there's a chance that he's gonna have a breakout season this season. So he's been great. It's been good. He's been great in the preseason. So watch out for this guy. And then Ivica Zubac, he's gonna give you low end center stats. Rebounds, few blocks there. Don't expect scoring, but he's gonna be efficient too. Ivica Zubac. Plus, madami siyang playing time this season. I think he's gonna have tons of playing time. When will Kawhi come back? That's a question. They're saying that he might come back during the playoffs na. If he does come back during the playoffs, that's a big boost to the Clippers. But if he's not coming back this year, then I guess we're going to see another big season for Paul George. Now, playoff stats last season, he had 30 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals with 57, 39, 88% shooting percentage. So he is basically killing it in the playoffs last season. He was shredding a lot of teams, diba? So that's a big loss for them. Next is season stats niya when he played 52 games. It was still good. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals per game, 51, 39, 88% shooting. So, diba? Again, the good thing about Kawhi is very efficient when he plays. But then again, health ang problema sa kanya. Next question is, will we see an MVP level Paul George? If we get to see the 2018-2019 Paul George where he was third in MVP voting, then there's a big chance Clippers would stay fourth or even exceed the level, exceed their last season position. Last season he had 23 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 46, 41, 86 shooting. So it's still a good season. He had a good season he had a good season last season, and this season I think he's gonna do more. He might even reach mga 25, 26 points per game. Kasi wala bang gagawa sa kanila eh. I think all the offense is gonna go through Paul George, and he's the guy for this team, for this shitty team. Sorry, Lakers fan ako. Anyway, and then next question is, who will be the option 2? Look, when we look at the team of the Clippers, lahat ng nilagay ko na players dyan, dun sa reserve players, yun na players nila. So, if the choices of being the second option or the guy who's gonna step up, there is no clear winner, or there is no clear second man here. So they really have to do it as a team. Reggie Jackson has to be great, play off form. Eric Bledsoe has to be at least decent, defend, gives you rebounds and assists. And then Marcus Morris, well, basically just the bruiser in the team. And then Ibaka. It's going to be, in my opinion, a team effort for them to get whatever Kawhi's production was. It's gonna be a team effort. Wala, Luke Kennard, it's gonna have his moments. Justin Winslow might have his moments. Aside from that, wala na. Here's the next players you have. Ito yung mga bench players na. Nicholas Batum, Ibaka, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, Justin Winslow, Isaiah Hartenstein, and then Keon Johnson, Amir Kofi. Look, those are the players that you're on this team. It's not that deep. I mean, if you think about it, Terrence Mann, umaasa ka pa na sasabog siya this season. But then again, wala kang legit 6-man naman, sabi mo parang at least man lang Jordan Clarkson or Joe Ingles in this team. So for them, they really have to see who will be their second option here, and also they have to really work as a team. So yeah, so Tyronn Lue has a big challenge for him coming into this season. Next, let's go to the Lakers. Okay, I'm pretty sure majority ng tao dito, Lakers lang yung inaantay. So, Lakers added a lot of players. A lot of over 35 players, okay? So, as a Lakers fan, I honestly say this team is a 2K team, okay? Why? They really look good on 2K. That's my opinion, ah. They really look good on 2K. Take away the injuries, mga shit na ganyan, or health issues. This team is really, really good. You know? Look at the additions. They have Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, and then this guy, Austin Reeves. You know, he's confident, but I'm not sure if he's gonna have a lot of minutes. Pero, pucha, tatanda ito eh. So, most likely, pag na-injured to, magkakaroon to the minutes. And then, Carmelo Anthony. So, medyo, if you think about it, it's a bit star-studded. It's not a bit, it's actually star-studded. It is star-studded. Okay? Now, the projected starting five, Russell Westbrook, Wayne Ellington, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, DeAndre Jordan. Now, Wayne Ellington, question. Either him or Malik Monk would start. Why? I think they're gonna do that for shooting. They got Malik Monk, they got Wayne Ellington for shooting. And the good thing about this, ito lang, I have to give kudos to this team. Majority of the players they signed were actually minimum players. Basically minimum salary players. So, they got tons of depth for basically small pay because they're paying 30 million to three players here. They're basically paying Russell Westbrook 30 plus, LeBron and Anthony Davis big money. So nakakuha sila ng depth with just minimum salary. Okay, now reserve players to watch here, Carmelo Anthony. I think he's gonna play a lot here. You know, if he's not injured, he's gonna get the buckets. You know, majority of the second unit points will come from, well, yeah, a portion of it or majority portion of it will come from Carmelo Anthony because they signed him for that. They signed him for basically getting scores in the second unit. Now, Dwight Howard, third stint back in the Lakers. Second stint went well, won the championship. This is a good addition. DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard. Actually, maglilin ako more na sana ilagay si Dwight Howard dun sa starting lineup. Pero I heard Frank Vogel is leaning towards DeAndre Jordan in this starting lineup. But still, Dwight Howard in the second unit is still good. Now, this is a good addition for me. Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk. Malik Monk is quite underrated. He had a great season in Charlotte in terms of 3-point shooting. And also he had a good stretch na he was scoring a lot, especially when LaMelo Ball went down. Yung role ni Malik Monk last season, I think they're trying to get that from James Bouknight this season. So, like I said in the previous stream, take a look at James Bouknight. Think he's gonna have a good season in terms of second unit. He might have the minutes of Malik Monk. And also this guy, Talen Horton Tucker. Although he's injured right now, I think he's going to be the energy guy, the way Caruso was last season. A lot of people are saying Austin Reeves is basically a better version of Caruso. If you see the highlights, I'm not yet that convinced. But if he does turn into a Caruso, that's good. That's good for us. Lake Nation, you know, the Lake Show. So THT, supposedly prior to the injury, daming sabi he's gonna have a great big year, but now we'll see. With all the 35 years old that they added, you know, you have to expect that injury is gonna come. So THT and Kendrick Nunn and Austin Reeves are actually the youngest people in this lineup, you know. So the Lakers are really old, you know. They are old. Tanda nila min. Okay, wait lang, may mga comments. Fan din ako nung nasa Hicha. Sure Ball 2022 NBA Finals. LeBron James ang kailangan. Yes. I'll never doubt LeBron. Here's the thing. I don't doubt LeBron James. Don't doubt the king, you know. Even if he's old, he's productive. He's good. He's productive on the court. Hindi siya pabigat, okay? Hindi siya matandang pabigat. He's productive on the court. So, I'm not gonna count it out. The only reason is, will Father Time catch up? Will he play 80 games this season? Diba? I don't think he's gonna play that much this season, to be honest. Which kind of scary. Diba? They really need him to play, to win. Although, well, still have Russell Westbrook, but still. Anyway, Oh shit, di ko pala napalitan to. Okay, anyway. Okay. Fantasy players to watch for this team: LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn, I think, is gonna have a big season this year. Uh, yes, he's going to be the first guy off the bench, in my opinion, for this team. He's gonna give you energy. He's gonna give you speed. He's gonna give you shooting. So also, defense wise, he's okay. At least he's hardworking. He actually had 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds last season for the Heat. So this is a great addition to this Los Angeles Lakers team. Next is Malik Monk too. Also fantasy watch. Just have to see kasi I think, my opinion, he's gonna have a big role this season then with the Lakers. And he might even be a starter, Aside from Wayne Ellington, I think he's gonna be the starter here. Okay, reserve players to watch: THT, but he's injured right now. Trevor Ariza, who's also injured. Sucks. And then, so basically that's it. Kendrick Nunn, hotels. Okay, so we've tackled the fantasy players. Now let's go to things to look at throughout the season. How will Westbrook fit? Last season, he scored 22 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. Another triple-double year for him. With 1.3 steals, 43, 31, 65% shooting. So, as we all know, he's not a really good three-point shooter. So, that's a question. Spacing ang isang magiging question with this team, especially with if DeAndre Jordan plays, medyo compact ang paint. Also with the fit, how will LeBron, Westbrook fit together? These guys need the ball to basically command the game or make an impact, di ba? Russell Westbrook sucks at playing off the ball. As you can see, 31% 31% three-point shooting. Di ba? This guy is basically drive to ng drive para hindi naman to paikot-ikot hindi siya umiikot sa court, naghahanap ng position just to take a jump shot, So it's really going to be an interesting season to see how Westbrook and LeBron James fit. Although, the good thing about Westbrook is, lahat na nagiging players na nakakasama niya, actually, kahit pa paano na-enhance niya yung game. Wala naman siyang, like when he was with Paul George was doing good. Last season, Bradley Beal was doing good. So, hindi naman siya negative effect in terms of with another star. But the thing is, the question is how will he fit with LeBron James and Anthony Davis season? And also, the biggest issue here is health and age. Father time for LeBron, health for Davis, and also father time basically for the rest of the team. The rest of the whole squad, man. I think, again, the youngest lang is Kendrick Nunn and THT, and then THT is still injured. Who got injured, and then Trevor Ariza is injured. So, before the start of the season, injuries are already piling up, which is a great concern for the Lakers. Specifically with their age. Guys, at 35, 36 years old, these guys aren't gonna play 82 games lahat. Diba? They're not gonna play all the 82 games. So, it's gonna be interesting to see how they will develop it. Okay, and last question for this one: will Davis start to make this his team? LeBron James is always saying this is Anthony Davis' team, but if you watch the Lakers, it's still LeBron's team, diba? But then again, they're always saying this is the team of Anthony Davis because he's basically the franchise cornerstone of this team, diba? Technically si LeBron parang GM na nga siya, diba? Although this is still LeBron's team, they wanna show this as an Anthony Davis team. So will this be the year where he would literally take control, leadership wise? On the court, he's doing it naman eh. Scoring 21.8 points per game, 7.9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.6 blocks per game on 49, 26, 73% shooting. He has to improve his shooting, his 3-point shooting again. He used to average 30 plus, now he's back to 26. So if he could increase that to at least 31 to 33%, that would be good. But then again, he has to make his mark. He has to make sure that this is his team. A lot of people, we all know this is still LeBron's team. But then again, Davis has to make this his team because he's younger. Lakers is betting on him to actually do it. So, yeah. Let's move on to our Memphis Grizzlies. Let's start first with the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, now, they were in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs last season, 38-34. Again, Memphis and Phoenix, I think, were two of the teams na shockingly exceeded their expectation We'll talk about Phoenix later, but Memphis was supposed to be a rebuilding team, yet they reached the playoffs. So anyway, they had a record of 38-34, which is above 500 team, diba? So that is quite impressive. They lost to the Utah Jazz in the Western Conference first round 4-1. Now projected starting lineup would be Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams. Now the reason Desmond Bane is here is because Dillon Brooks is injured as of the moment. But if he's not injured, he's going to be in the starting lineup, and Desmond Bane would be, in my opinion, the spark plug of this team. He would be the heart. He would be the ones doing a lot. He would be the spark or the X factor of this team. Reserve players to watch: the Anthony Melton, Brandon Clark, and Tyus Jones. Now Tyus Jones did somewhat decent job of becoming the backup for Ja Morant last season. Now notable additions to this team: they basically traded out Jonas Valanciunas for Steven Adams. They also got a defensive-minded guard from with Jarrett Culver, and then their draft picks Zaire Williams and Santi Aldama. In terms of these two rookies, I don't think they're gonna do much this season. Maybe they're gonna play in the G League, and then they're gonna have a game here. But then again, this is a young team, a young up and coming team. So it's interesting to see. Now, fantasy players to watch: Ja Morant, Triple J, Desmond Bane, Anthony Melton, and Dillon Brooks. Now, the reason I'm putting Desmond Bane here is, first, dinraft ko siya. So I'm really high on him, okay? I think he's going to be not just the X factor, but also the sixth man. But as of the moment, it's the Anthony Melton who's actually the sixth man of the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, these two will basically form the second unit of the Memphis Grizzlies. So they'll have a lot of time organizing the second unit. Now, Dillon Brooks too. He had a good year last season. Grayson Allen's out, so yung rotation in terms of the guards, they're literally leaning for Dillon Brooks to step up this season. Now, Steven Adams is a great addition. So in terms of fantasy, if you need a late round rebounds and blocks, he's a great pick, in my opinion. Now, the big question that lies in this team is Triple J's health. Can he stay healthy? Basically, when he was playing, he was actually good. You know, he was really good when he was playing. But the thing is, he can't stay healthy. He really can't stay healthy. You know, let's check out his. Yeah, last season he only played 11 games, diba? And then he played 5 games in the playoffs. He had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, on 42, 28, 87%. And then last season in the 11 games he played, he actually played well. He had 14 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 1 assist, 5 rebounds on 42, 28, 83% shooting. Now, I honestly think this year, if he's healthy, he's going to be breakout candidate and also an MIP, in my opinion, MIP candidate. There's a big chance he's going to be a most improved player if he stays on the court and he stays healthy. That's the only question here. These two, Ja Morant and JJJ, are actually good duos. You know, a good franchise cornerstone for the Memphis Grizzlies. So, yeah, shockingly, they won last season. They got to the playoffs, so I think this season they're still going to be in the play-in. I'm not gonna say they're gonna have a guaranteed spot, but they're in the conversation to do the play-in, especially when JJJ plays. Next is Ja Morant's All-Star season. Last season he was is this a season he's gonna be an All-Star? He's been progressing for the past 2 years. He's been really good. Last season, regular season, he had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7.3 assists on 44, 30, 72 shooting. And then on the playoffs, he went berserk. He had 30 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and 48, 32, 70%, 77% shooting. Now, this guy is very athletic, you know. One of the things I would say na nagmi-miss sa game niya is his jump shot. So if he does improve his 3-point shooting, then there's a big possibility that he's really going to be an all-star this season. So basically the whole future of the Memphis lies on JJJ and Ja Morant. So their performance this season is key for them to being in the playoffs and maybe advancing to the first round. But then again, this whole team is young. So I guess for them, getting in the playoffs is already a win. It's already a win for this season. Next is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, they were 13th last season with 29-43 wins. Okay. I'm a fan of D'Angelo Russell. Kasi dinraft siya ng Lakers. I really like this guy. Also, Anthony Edwards and Cat. Cat is offensively gifted, you know. He's really good in the offensive end. Although, medyo tamad siya dumipensa or there are lapses in his defensive game, but this guy can really play. No, so I'm really high on this team. Now, notable additions, they added veteran leadership in Patrick Beverley. They have Taurean Prince, and then they added last year's 23rd pick, which is Leonardo Bolmaro. I don't think he's gonna do anything this season, honestly, Leonardo Bolmaro, but he might have a few chances to have end of the bench minutes. Reserve players to watch, definitely Patrick Beverley. Well, I hope he has an impact in changing the defense of this team, because that's one of the key issues in Minnesota right now, their defense. Josh Okogie is going to be their sixth man, and then Naz Reid is going to be their X factor and spark plug. Now, they are high on Naz Reid, and they're trying to put Naz Reid alongside Karl Anthony Towns. Last season kasi ginawa siyang backup, but this season they're trying to find ways to actually put them together and try to play them together. Okay, another typo, Tyus Jones, sorry about that. Projected starting lineup, basically D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Wildcat Anderson. Sorry, that's supposed to be Malik Beasley, my bad. Malik Beasley as their starting forward. Medyo inaantok na ata ako na ginagawa ko to. And then there are Jaden McDaniels and also Karl Anthony Towns. Now, fantasy players to watch, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and D'Angelo Russell, and also Naz Reid. Like I said, Naz Reid has been effective as a backup to Karl Anthony Towns. But at the same time, when he's going to have more playing time, I think he's also going to do well. He shoots, he defends, he rebounds. That's a good thing about Naz Reid. And a suggestion lang, if you're going to pick Karl Anthony Towns, get Naz Reid as your basically insurance policy. There's a big chance he's going to play minutes with Karl Anthony Towns, and at the same time, definitely all the center minutes is going to him. So he's not a bad pick as your 11th, 12th, or basically your later round draft picks in your fantasy, if ever lang. If ever you're still doing it. Next is, key questions going is the chemistry of the big three. Guys, this three started 8 games together last season. That's it. They basically just started 8 games last season. And the record was 3-5. So hindi pa natin nakikita yung full potential ni Karl Anthony Towns, D'Lo, and Cat playing together. Offensively, they actually look good. All these players are defensive. Now, all these players are offensive players. In terms of defense, out of these 3 players, I think Anthony Edwards is the one that has a big potential in terms of the defensive end. Siya pa yung may kaya mag-improve. As we all know, D'Lo doesn't defend. Come on. That's not his thing. Cat, tamad siya mag-defense, you know. He's getting lapses in the defense. That's one of the reasons why they had the clash with Jimmy Butler. So, offensively, we haven't seen the full potential since small scale pa lang nakikita natin sa kanya with 8 games playing together, di ba? Next is, again, improve defense. The key here is improving their defense. This is a good offensive team, especially with Malik Beasley there too. But the thing is, defensively, they were ranked last season 28th last season out of 30 teams. They were allowing 114.5 points per possession. So that's very bad. They're ranked basically top 3. Yeah, they're basically the bottom 3 in defensive efficiency last season. So those are the things that I think we have to look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. If they could improve their defense, there's a chance that they might play for a play-in spot. That's about it. They could go for number 10 or number 9. But I'm not putting my hopes up. I think they're still going to be part of the top 5, the bottom 5 of the Western Conference. Unless for some miracle this guy really defends well, or like a super an MVP season from Karl Anthony Towns. So we'll have to see that. Next is the New Orleans Pelicans. Notable addition, they have a new coach on Willie Green. Stan Van Gundy is already out. So new coach, new system, new rotations. We'll have to see that. Jonas Valanciunas, I think this is an upgrade from Steven Adams last season. And then they had Trey Murphy as their 17th pick, and then Herbert Jones as their 35th pick. Now, reserve players to watch: Kira Lewis Jr., who showed promise last season. Jackson Hayes. Now, they're really high on this guy, although hindi pa pinapakita ko yung full potential niya. I think the Pelicans are still giving him a chance, so we might see him having big minutes this season. And then Thomas Satoransky. This guy's underrated. He did a great job as a point guard for Chicago last season. This is a great addition in this team, in my opinion, especially with two young starting backcourts. So I think he's going to be their X factor here. He's gonna bring stability to the second unit. Reserve player also Zayn Williamson is injured right now, and there's no timetable. I think he's gonna be checked out 2 to 3 weeks from now. So we'll see. Medyo scary. Dude, Zion, ang laki niya. Sumobra laki ni Zion this year. I'm not sure if it's muscle, but he looks fat. You know? He doesn't look ripped. He's like baby Shaq talaga, you know? Shaq who could run and jump and it's very springy. Zion Williamson is very springy. Yun yung i-describe sa kanya. Para siyang may spring sa paa pag tumatalon. So, he has a body of Shaq right now. I'm not sure if it's scary. I'm not sure if it's good or scary. I don't know. But he's been very efficient. My God. Check out his stats. You know, he plays as a power forward. Yet, his field goal percentage is surreal. You know, like this. He had a 61% field goal percentage last season. Diba? That's surreal. Although his free throw is really bad. He's basically a center. He had 27 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Yeah, you see, that's it. So when he had 61 games last season. When he's playing, he's really good. Although again, ang problem sa kanya, ang scary sa kanya is his what do you call this? His health. So that's another factor that we have to see. His health. Next is fantasy players to watch. Definitely Brandon Ingram. When Zion Williamson is out, it's all about Brandon Ingram. BI. He's going to eat. He's basically going to be a monster. He's going to be a stat sheet filler if Zion is out. Next is Zion Williamson. We have to check out his health. When he's playing, like I said, he's really good. He's a fantasy stud when he's playing, but when he's injured, nga. Jonas Valanciunas, I think he's going to have a great year. He's gonna space the floor. When basically the starting five plays, he could space the floor, so Zion would have more chance to dominate in the paint, which he is good at. Valanciunas is a good 3-point shooter. I mean, a decent 3-point shooter, so that's good. So check him out. Last season he had 12 rebounds. He had a career high in rebounds last season. So from the looks of it, he might have another great year. Devonte Graham. Very inefficient scorer, volume scorer, but he could score, you know. And I think they signed him to be their starting point guard. I don't think he got paid to basically be a 6-man. So I'm seeing he might have good productions this season. Although if you're looking for field goal percentage, I think he's gonna be a bad field goal percentage. You know, he's not gonna be efficient. I'm not sure though. We'll see. Nikhil Alexander Walker now. This guy is promising. It's quite interesting, the tandem of Devonte Graham and Alexander Walker. So we'll have to check that out. We'll see. I think both of these guys are volume scorer. For key questions going into the season, Zion Williamson's future. There are rumors that he doesn't want to sign an extension, but nobody is skipping on the extension because that's like $100 million guaranteed. Almost $200 million guaranteed. So if ever he's gonna bypass that, take a qualifying offer, and then try the free agency, he's gonna be the first one to do that. Because I think he's eligible to sign a $200 million max contract out of his rookie max contract. So yeah, we'll see. Also, not just the future, his health. He's injured right now. Will he play this season? Yung injury ba niya would linger throughout the season, or this is just an injury na he could shrug off when he's good. Next is the backcourt starters. I think Kira Lewis Jr. has a chance to start in this team. Also, let's not forget, Josh Hart is here. He could actually play the SF and the SG position. So I think the backcourt starters are a big question mark on how they will play. Because it's going to be a factor for them going into this next question. Playoffs or lottery again? I'm thinking last season they were 11th in the Western Conference. They added a key piece in Jonas Valanciunas. Also Devonte Graham. D- Basically, offensively, they're better. Lonzo Ball, malaking bagay yung defense niya. So, in terms of the first unit, I think they're gonna try to win via shootout. So, we have to see if their defense is gonna hold. Are they gonna be a lottery team or playoffs? There's a big chance they'll be in the play-in. Again, depending on Zayn Williamson and the performance of BI. Basically, in how Willie Green will handle this team. But if you're gonna ask me, they're either in the they're either going to be in the eighth spot in the play-in position, or one of the worst teams here in the Western Conference. Either they go for 8 or 9 or 13 to 15. That's my hot take on this one. I don't think they're gonna be. I don't know. It's a new coach. Zion Williamson medyo nag shaky, so I don't know. Let's see. Now here, Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, record last season they were 14th. They were the second bottom team in the Western Conference. 2250 was the record. Projected starting lineup: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luguentz Dort. There, basically Troy Bolton. Yeah, Troy Bolton ng High School Musical. Josh Giddey, Darius Baisley, and Derek Favors. Now, I think Derek Favors would start here compared to Isaiah Robbie, which is basically the all-around guy of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He could play center and he could defend all positions, which is a good thing. So I think he's going to be the X factor. And then reserve players to watch: Theo Maledon and also Alexiv Pokusevsky. This guy is good. Ganda potential, although pahit niya talaga. And also has to improve his shooting. Now, notable additions is Derek Favors, and then everyone's draft pick na. Again, the Golden Boy, Josh Giddey, Treyman, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and Aaron Wiggins. Now, Josh Giddey. There's a lot of hype regarding Josh Giddey going into this season. Okay. Now wait, fantasy players to watch is SGA definitely. This is his team. He's the guy. They paid him to be the guy in this team, so he's really going to be the guy. Plus he's young. I think they're going to be patient with his development and the development of the team. Now next is Luguent Dort. He's going to be the second man in this team. You know, I think the tandem of SGA and Luguentz Dort. They're looking to see if this is the backcourt of this is the backcourt. This is the future backcourt of the OKC Thunder. So I guess this season, well, Dort has been promising. So I guess this season they would see if gumagana ba to. Alexiv Pokusevsky. This guy fills the stat line, so have to check it out too. And also Josh Giddey. Sinasabi nila he's going to be a triple-double machine. I've seen some highlights. It's quite interesting. You know, his highlight is quite interesting. He finished the preseason with stats of. Let me check. Wala pala sa notes ko yung stats ni Josh Giddey. Okay, he finished the preseason with 13.5 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds on a 40, 57 shooting percentage. That is high. That is impressive. That's why they're really high on this guy. Okay, now youth movement. The biggest question here is youth movement. For ba lagi nawawala? Biggest question here is youth movement. Basically it's just all about development of these guys. I don't think they're pushing to be in the playoffs. If they actually get into the play-in, I think that's already a great win for OKC. So right now they're all just in developmental stage. Sam Presti is here, so he's more on developing the young guys that he have right now. So it's going to be a youth movement, a lot of playing time for all the young players. Improvements of SGA and Dort, like I said, that's the thing that you're going to check out. Is this our backcourt of the future? If they improve a lot, then yes, they would go all in rebuilding. In this too. Again, SGA got paid already, so I think this year is going to be a great year for Dort because he's going to show that he needs to get paid too. And this question is trade for picks or trade the picks. Now, there is a lot of draft capital in OKC. Now, if they wanna trade the picks for established players, they could actually do it. They also have a lot of young players that they could trade. So the question is, will they trade for more picks? Kasi as of the moment, I think they have 36 draft picks in the next 3 draft years. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Parang ganun yung numbers niya. Around 30 plus. Like next year, they're gonna have like 15 draft picks next year. So with that kind of draft stash, what are you going to do? Are they gonna trade for more picks? Are they gonna rotate that for more picks? Are they gonna trade that for stars? Diba? So that's the question. But I think what they're going to do is maybe accumulate more draft picks, assess the young players that they have, and then they're gonna cash in on those draft picks or trade them by the off season next year. Next is the Phoenix Suns. The Western Conference champs, they lost in the finals 4-2 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, they are second in the Western Conference, which I think there's a big chance that they're gonna do it again. Why? Because they basically run back the team. Binalikan nila lahat ng players. All the crucial players, they got it. Notable players that they lost is basically just the Javon Carter and Torrey Craig. But they basically replaced it with more productive players. Okay, so the projected starting lineup for this one is basically CP3, the point guard, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton. Now, notable additions is JaVale McGee, who's going to be the backup center while Dario Saric is out. Dario Saric is injured. Elfrid Payton, he was good last season in New York, although medyo compiled lang, but he has been good. So, he's been a good backup point guard. He's actually doing triple-doubles. I think he had a few triple-doubles last season. So this is a great addition to the Phoenix Suns team. And also Landry Shamet. They basically get another 3-point shooter in their team. Landry Shamet is a good 3-point shooter. So this is one of the under-the-radar additions, I think, in a lot of teams. But this is a good addition for the Phoenix Suns. Now, reserve players to watch. Landry Shamet, I don't think they got him just to be on the bench. I think they got him with the idea of basically using him. Cameron Payne got paid, so he's coming back as your backup point guard, which is very decent to back up Chris Paul. He did really well in the playoffs in the regular season, so that's a good. It's a good thing he came back. And also Cameron Johnson, a good 3-and-D wing. If he improves this season from his what do you call this? From his play last season, then yeah, that's a much more improved Phoenix Suns. Fantasy players to watch, definitely Devin Booker. Oh, I think he's gonna elevate his game this season. Also, DeAndre Ayton, he wants to get paid. So, a contract year for him, he's gonna have a great... I think he's gonna... Mamamawi niya lahat ngayon sa paint. Yeah, he's gonna have a great season. He's gonna force his way into getting that multi-year contract. Mikal Bridges, he's been improving the past 3 seasons. So, I guess yung improvements niya is very steady. There's a big chance he's also an MIP candidate, He might, if he breaks out, I think he's going to be a good MIP candidate. Next is Chris Paul. Fantasy player because of his health, I guess. But he played majority of his games last season. I think he played 60 games out of... No, he played 70 games out of 72. Hindi ako nagkakamali. Let me double check again. Yeah, I know he played 72 games last season. Yep, he played 70 games. He played 70 games last season. Can you imagine? He played full 70 games. So, yeah. Now, key questions going into the season is basically father time or health issues for Chris Paul. If he gets to play 70 games again, then yes, they going to finish second in the Western Conference. They might even be the number 1 team. Running back the players from the finals, and then if everyone improves, yes, they might even get the top spot in the Western Conference. But then again, issues with Chris Paul and his health. Father time. Phoenix Suns has one of the best training teams, I think, in the NBA. Madami sila na prolong na mga age players. So I think Chris Paul is gonna benefit from this. Again, if Chris Paul is healthy, until the playoffs. That's one of the things, one of the reasons why they got into the finals last season, because they were really healthy. They were healthy, in the crucial moments. Chris Paul got injured in the first round, but after that, he was okay. So it was health. It was combination of luck that got them to the finals last season. Again, this team wasn't even in the playoffs a season before. So for them to be in the finals, it's one of the biggest turnarounds in the NBA last season. So next level for the big three. Oh, well, not the big three, but basically the young core of the Phoenix Suns, the franchise core of the Phoenix Suns, Booker, Ayton, Bridges. Now, on the playoffs last season, these were the stats of Booker. He had 27 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and then Ayton had 15 points, 11 rebounds, 1 block per game. If they could sustain this throughout the regular season, then yes, they could be the top team in the Western Conference. And also Bridges became a defensive force. So if he could continue scoring at least 13 points per game, then he could defend well, then yes, sky's the limit for this Phoenix Suns. Next is the Portland Trail Blazers. Lost to the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference first round, 4-2. There were 6 in the Western Conference Finals. They were part of the top 6 who didn't have to go to the play-in. Notable additions is their head coach, Chauncey Billups. Now, this is interesting. Chauncey Billups is a great player. He's also been coaching the past few years, but this is his first head coaching job. So, I'm not skeptical about it because Chauncey Billups is so smart. Is a smart basketball guy, high basketball IQ guy. So, we'll see on how he would handle Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and the whole rotation of the squad. They also added Larry Nance Jr., Cody Zeller, Tony Snell, Dennis Smith Jr., Ben McLemore, and their 43rd pick for this year, which is Greg Brown. Reserve players to watch, Larry Nance Jr. I think he's going to be... Sorry, nagabaliktad ako dito. I think he's going to be the X factor in this team. He adds basically defense to this team. Defense, rebounding, hustle player. I love this addition to this Portland squad. I think he's better than Robert Covington, in my opinion. Swear, I do think he's way better than Cardio Covington. Next is Anthony Simmons. If he improves, then yes, he's going to be the 6th man of this team. He's going to give the scoring on the second unit, and he's going to give that spark too. Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller has been really good in Charlotte Hornets, he's basically quiet yung stats niya, but he's been reliable. He gives you, he's gonna score 3 points, he's gonna give you rebounds, he's gonna give you field goal percentage. So I really am I'm a fan of this addition. Why? Because if Joseph Nurkic goes down, he's still a good, Cody Zeller is still a good starter, not as smart or as crafty in terms of passing as Nurkic, but he passes the ball really well too. Fantasy player to watch is Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, basically the four starting 5 that they have there, minus Robert Covington, Norman Powell, and Joseph Nurkic. Norman Powell adds defense and 3 points to this team. Joseph Nurkic adds basically another playmaker in this team. He passes really well. He's actually good at that. There was when he got traded to the Portland Trail Blazers, I forgot what season, they were using him as a point center, which really worked well, playing Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum off the ball. Now, the biggest question here for the Portland Trail Blazers is their defense. According to the NBA.com, they were 29th in defense efficiency. The 30th team was the Sacramento Kings, which we will talk about later. So, defense issues. I think they basically reinforced that by having Larry Nance Jr., but he just can't do it alone. Rocco is still good. They're the deflectors. They're good at deflecting passes. They're actually the top 2, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're part of the top 5. In that stat category. So defense, that's a minor improvement. I'm not saying big because hindi naman kaya buhatin mag-isa ni Larry Nance in defense. So Chauncey Billups, maybe with his time in Detroit, could actually put a defensive mindset in this Portland Trail Blazers. Kasi offense-wise, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, especially the CJ McCollum that was almost an all-star before he got injured last season, That's a good combination already in terms of offense, diba? So yeah. And yes, question is Damian Lillard's future. Now, Damian Lillard, after their exit last season in the conference finals, said that they had to do better. You know, the management has to do better. He's been loyal to this. He's been loyal to this franchise, and they should pay him back by giving him a very good supporting cast. So far, they haven't given him great supporting cast. 3 seasons ago, they were in the Western Conference Finals, and then last season and second to the basically back-to-back seasons they were first round exit, but prior to that they were in the Western Conference Final. So as you can see, Damian Lillard is really frustrated. You get his frustrations, diba? He's been loyal to this team. He's given a lot, and he just wants to win in this team. And he said that he doesn't want to leave, but I mean, push comes to shove. If the Portland Trail Blazers management doesn't improve, then I guess Damian Lillard will leave this franchise. Next is the Sacramento Kings, the worst ranked defensive team in the NBA. Now, the projected starting they were 12 in the Western Conference Finals. Oh, by the way, here 6 in the Western Conference Finals with the additions that they have. A new coach, I would say they would play in the play-in. I don't see them being in the top 4 yet. I think this is going. Syempre magkakaroon pa ng time to integrate the system of Chauncey Billups. However, if they could improve the defense, definitely top 4 team. But right now, I see them being either staying in the 6th, or going to the play-in. Sacramento Kings, 12 in the Western Conference. This team is going to be like, in my opinion, they're still going to be at best play-in team, at worst whichever they have right now. You know, I think they're still a lottery team. You know, projected starting lineup: De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley the third, and Rashawn Holmes. Notable additions: Davian Mitchell, their rookie, the co-MVP of the summer league because of his defense, Alex Len, and Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson addition is a great addition because for the past year and a half or 2 years, Tristan Thompson has been a great backup center. Reserve players to watch: Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield will let the threes go. He's gonna score tons of threes. And this guy could score. Ayaw lang siya gamitin talaga ni Luke Walton, honestly, but he could score. He's a good player. He could also defend. Well, he could defend decently. And then Devon Mitchell. I think he would be basically handling the defensive assignments in the second unit. He showed his toughness, his grittiness, and yeah, he's gonna have tons of playing time here. It's quite interesting. He was drafted. The thing that they already have the Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, but I guess they wanted him to not carry, but be in the second unit. You know, control that. Also, reserve players, like I said, Tristan Thompson. This guy rebounds, and yeah, basically he rebounds. That's what he does. Fantasy players to watch: Tyrese Halliburton, Rashawn Holmes. Dude, this guy's been quiet in terms of fantasy, but he's been doing good production. So, if you watch the games, hindi mo siya hindi mo siya mapapansin masyado like the other centers, but he's actually effective. He is really effective. Tyrese Halliburton, I think it's going to be a great year for Tyrese Halliburton. They're going all into this guy. The Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton combo. The Sacramento Kings really likes that backcourt, so I guess they're gonna push that in. Buddy Hield, like I said, he's gonna score a lot. Also, let's go back to Davian Mitchell. This is his summer league stats: 12.4 points, 4 assists, 1.2 steals per game on 42, 40, 43 shooting percentage. And then the preseason, this is his stats: 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 50%, 52%, 50% field goal percentage, and 52% free throw percentage. So, you see, this guy is a defensive-minded guy. So, from the looks of it, he's going to be a defensive all NBA team someday. No, a defensive superstar. Okay, again, same as the team last time. Defense issues. They really have to defend. Luke Walton is not a good defensive coach, but so if they could improve that, there's a big chance that they might be in the play-in. Also, they're 30th in rebounding last season. They rebound really bad. Marvin Bagley has not been known to be a good rebounder. And I'm looking forward to Marvin Bagley this year because it's a contract year. So, if he plays well, he gets paid. If he plays the way he plays right now, well, pupulutin siya sa kangkungan. Anyway, and yes, this team is also banking on the improvement of the Aaron Fox to becoming the All-Star. Last season, he had 25 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 steals on 47, 32, and 71 shooting percentage. Yet, he wasn't an All-Star. So, this team is banking on him being an All-Star. On being an All-Star this season. And yes, a lot of I think he's gonna be an All-Star this season. I think he's gonna take a leap. I think his 3-point shooting might go up, and his assists too. You know, also Halliburton. Big chance Halliburton would be an MIP candidate. So let's check that out. Best, they're gonna be, at best this is going to be a play-in team. At worst, well, wherever they are right now, a lottery team. But yeah, this guy could play 31-41 last season. They could maybe improve that to about less than 500 team, but yeah, a few four games improvement maybe 34 37, something like that. There's chance. And the next is the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs was actually, this was bad. This is bad stats, sorry. I think they were 10th because they didn't reach the playoffs last season. They were 10th in the standing last season. Sorry for the typo. Medyo madaming typo ngayon kasi talagang inaantok na ako nung ginagawa ko to. Although it's quite medyo interesting though. They were 10th last season. Sorry for the typo. They were 10th last season. Notable additions is Al-Farouq Aminu, Thaddeus Young, Doug McDermott, Zach Collins, Brian Forbes, Jack Landale, Joshua Primo, their young draft pick. This guy I think is 18. Bata pa to, man. Pag nakita mo yung picture niya, totoy na totoy yung itsura nito. And Joey Weiskamp. Reserve players to watch, Devin Vassell. They're looking to have a great year from Devin Vassell. With all the veterans gone, I think he's gonna have touches or chances to play. Also, Looney Walker, the fourth. I think he's gonna be the energy guy coming out of the team. Very athletic guy. So we'll see more of him. And also Brian Forbes. I think he's going to be the sixth man. Basically, this guy is a shooter. You know, a very good shooter. And coming from a championship season from the Bucks last year, I think Greg Popovich is gonna use him. They signed him and they liked him. Former Spurs too. He's coming back for his second stint. Now, projected starting lineup is DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Doug McDermott, Kelton Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. I forgot his name. Jacob tuloy. Iba yung Jakob joke. Jakob Poeltl. Okay. Fancy players to watch is Keldon Johnson, basically this young three. The young big three of San Antonio Spurs. I think they're going to develop these guys because they're basically the new era of the San Antonio Spurs. DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and Keldon Johnson. I'm high on DeJounte Murray. If Derek White gets to be healthy, yes. There's a big chance he's gonna have a big year fantasy-wise and also reality. But Keldon Johnson is the guy that's actually a bit hyped kasi naglaro siya for the US team, the US Olympic team, and he actually did well. I think he's gonna be a double-double guy this season. He rebounds really well, and he scores too. So, high ako kay DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson. I have Keldon Johnson in my lineup, so I'm really high on him. Sana maging okay siya. I think get a chance to get DeJounte Murray. I think masyadong mataas yung ADP niya. Although, as we know, wala na kasi yung mga veterans sa team. So, all of the touches would definitely go to this three guys right here. Also, Jakob Poeltl, if you need blocks and rebounds, that guy is a good pick. Now, this is basically San Antonio's new era. After 20 plus years of being in the playoffs, this is the first time in Pop's career, Greg Popovich, to have a back-to-back season with no playoff appearances. So, yeah, this is basically a rebuilding team. You know, they got to the 10th place last season because they got DeMar DeRozan. So, who else did they got? The notable mentions that they lost was Patty Mills, DeMar DeRozan, diba? So, Rudy Gay. So they had veterans to win. With this season, all the young guys, I think this is all about development. But then again, Pops is not the type of guy who likes to rebuild. You don't see Pops as the rebuilding type. So there's a big chance that this would be like a transition year going to a big free agent year, or this year would basically see them trying to improve this young players that they have. Now, also, Murray's steady improvement. Last season, you have 15.7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals on 45, 31, 79 shooting. If he could improve his 3-point shooting, sky's the limit for this guy. He basically does a lot of things on the court. He fills their stat sheet. That's why he's a good draft pick. He's what do you call this? A stat sheet filler. So, and they're looking at him as the cornerstone of this team. So basically, this is, I think, a year for him to audition if he's the guy that they should build around, or should be the guy to be traded to get the franchise player that they need. All right, and then here our last team is the Utah Jazz, the first in the Western Conference who lost to the Clippers in the Western Conference semifinals. Their projected starting lineup, they're basically running it back to Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. Now, notable additions is Hassan Whiteside, Rudy Gay, Eric Pascal. Derek Favors and George Niang are the key departures for this team. Now, reserve players to watch is basically the top two 6-man player of the year last season. The winner, Jordan Clarkson, and the runner-up, Joe Ingles. We also have Rudy Gay, who's going to have that veteran leadership presence in the second year, and also Jared Butler. Let's talk about Jared Butler. In his preseason, he scored 18 points, 4 assists, 1 steal on 48, 33, 66% shooting, and he has 2 3-points made per game. But again, it's preseason, but they gave him time to play, so I'm guessing that they're looking to use him this season. Maybe he's gonna have a few minutes at the start of the season, and then at the later stages, he and Pascal Siakam might have a big role in the season. Now, Eric Pascal, he had a great season 2 years ago. He was scoring. He's scoring is there. He's basically a high energy player too. So I guess this is a great addition to already a deep team, a deep second unit of the Utah Jazz. Now, fantasy players to watch is Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley. The reason I'm putting Mike Conley is because when he's healthy, he's productive and he's good. He had a great year last season, an all-star year actually. And then Jordan Clarkson. Yes, Jordan Clarkson. Well, he's basically the reigning 6-man of the year. Let's see if he could be the back-to-back or maybe an MIP player, diba? So, we'll have to see. That's all the questions. Pero I'm high on this guy. Si kababayan yan. He's been good. So, I wish he has a good season again this year. Now, can they win the playoffs? They basically have a playoff run streak. So for the past 5 seasons, they've been in the playoffs. But the question is, they always get eliminated. But can they really go deep in the playoffs and win at least the Western Conference? That's the biggest question here. One of the challenges is playing Rudy Gobert in the playoffs. When teams go small, they're having a hard time to match that up. I think Rudy Gay would be the guy playing the small ball center for this team when Gobert sits down. As we know, Hassan Whiteside is also a good backup, but then again, when it comes to small ball, I think Rudy Gay would be their center in the 6-man lineup. And also, level up to an All-NBA team for Donovan Mitchell. Will he level up? Last season, he had 26 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 43, 38, 84% shooting percentage on 3.3 points made. Now, that is a good stat line. The question is, can he improve going to an All-NBA team? We all know that he could carry a team. He did carry Utah Jazz last season, and also in the playoffs, he did well. But the thing is, can he level up his game? That's one of the questions going into the season. And in the playoffs, he was a monster. Look at the stat line. 32 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 44% field goal percentage, 43%, 3-point shooting, 82% field goal percentage. And then, here's the kicker. He was scoring 5 3 points per game. Man, that's, whoa, di ba? 5 3 points per game on 43% shooting. That's a good stuff. So, if this is going to be his regular season stats, then damn, he could even be an MVP. But again, it might not be realistic. But then again, if he could improve from his season, season average stats, then yes, there's a big chance he's going to be an All NBA first or second teamer. Regarding the record, Western Conference, yes, there's a big chance that they could come back as first or second, either of the two. I don't think Jazz is with basically getting the whole band back. I don't think they're gonna go lower than the second seed. They're really deep. They're well coached, well disciplined. They have a great defensive player. Speaking of, next year might be a chance of Gobert making history by getting his fourth defensive player of the year. So that's a good question. Defensively, they're really good. Offensively, they're also good. So Utah Jazz take first or second in the standing in the Western Conference next season. And yes, that's it. Basically, that's it. That's all our NBA Western Conference team for this year. There you have it. Alright, so whoever's still there and you'd like to comment, I'd like to know what's your comment regarding our whole NBA Western Conference team. Who do you think is gonna win this division? And is your favorite team in the West going to at least get in the playoffs? By the way, what's your team? What team are you excited for? Personally, I'm excited for the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, and the Memphis Grizzlies. These three. Memphis is fun to watch. Cat, D'Lo, Ant. I like that combination. Like I said, I'm a fan of D'Lo and Cat, and also Brandon Ingram. So I think if Zayn Williamson is injured or is gonna miss a lot of games, Brandon Ingram is going to be a monster. Yes. All right. So that's it for our episode, our Western Conference team preview episode. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Sana kayo sa draft nyo. I hope that this preview helped you if you're still gonna draft tomorrow. Again, I have another episode regarding the Eastern Conference, so do check that out. And soon, hopefully, we get this in Spotify. Inaaral ko pa kung paano ko siya gagawing audio or paano ko siya ililipat. Siyempre, kailangan ko siya edit ng konti doon. So, hopefully, malagay natin sa Spotify so you can see the other episodes. And I'll be back again this week. We'll recap basically the first few games of the NBA, and also check out the weekend games. Check out the games in the football and also the NFL. Coming weeks for the NFL. So let's talk about that. And also, let's see kung anong hottest news or updates na magkakaroon tayo in this week. So let's talk about that in the next coming episode. But before I leave, I'll just like to say But before we leave, I'd just like to say na and remind everyone that the U23 Ascals will basically play their qualifiers. Their U23 AFC qualifiers soon. Okay, so let me check the schedule. Double check. So let's support them. Basically the AFC U23 championship is like the AFC championship. It's just that for the U21s, diba? So the U23. So the schedule here. Let me check. I know this. I'm no here. Okay, so the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers U23 is coming. Korea versus Philippines would be on October 25, 5 p.m. Philippines versus Singapore, 8 p.m. October 28, and then Timor-Leste Philippines on Halloween, 5 p.m. October 31. Now it's crucial that we support our U23 squad, especially na wala silang kahit na anong group. Wala silang kahit na anong games for the past a year and a half. So I think this is going to be challenging for the team, but I'm rooting for them to win. Hopefully we get to see our squad in the U23 Asian Cup. And yes, like I said, also reminders for the NBA games that are coming this week till Friday. Sabihin ko na yung mga upcoming games, and I think the games na feeling ko are must-watch. Well, the first two games are actually a must-watch. I think it's a good matchup. The Bucks and the Nets on Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. And then the Lakers and the Warriors, 10 a.m. And then on Thursday, games to look out is the Knicks and the Celtics. That would be at 7:30 a.m. The Suns and the Nuggets. That's a very good matchup too. And also, well, Zion is not gonna play, but sana Pelicans and the Sixers at 8 p.m. on Thursday. But the other games installed are the Pistons and Bulls, 7 a.m. Hornets and Pacers, 7 a.m. Raptors Wizards, 7:30 a.m. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Rockets at 8 a.m. Grizzlies and the Cavaliers, 8 a.m. Spurs, Magic, 8:30 a.m. Jazz and Thunder, 9 a.m. Trailblazers and the Kings, 10 a.m. And then Suns and the Nuggets on 10 p.m. And on Friday, there would only be 3 games. Matchups to watch here. Hawks and Mavericks. Luka Doncic against Trae Young. That's a good matchup. 7:30 a.m. Friday. And then the Heat and the Bucks. So Giannis going up against the... This is a good... this is a early rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals. So... sorry, the Eastern Conference semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Warriors against Clippers. So, I mean, Warriors are gonna win this, not the Clippers. Anyway, 10 a.m. So there you have it. Those are the games prior to Friday. So I hope you guys catch them up. I'm trying to watch majority of them so we could talk about it and see the highlights. We'll talk about the scores, the highlights of the games that are quite interesting. Yeah, so basically that's it for our episode here on Wach Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow this page and also our Spotify and YouTube channels. So please do check it out. And yeah, I appreciate doing this. This is my second episode. I'm looking forward to creating more episodes and contents for you fans because, again, I'm a sports fan and I'm doing this as a sports fan for you guys, sports fans. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care, stay safe, and let's all watch sports. See you guys. Oops. Post show.